not? So I grew up watching the 1995 Mortal Kombat film and it was glorious. Even to this day, I enjoy every scene in that movie. It just had the right balance of cheesiness, of action, of cinematography, and also, yes, I said cinematography, deal with it. And also the dedication towards the lore. They were faithful to it, at least to the degree in which a film should be. I didn't watch the Mortal Kombat film that came before this because everything that came after the 1995 Mortal Kombat was trash as far as I was concerned, or did not just live up to the hype, so it wasn't worth my time. But when I saw the trailer to the second one, I thought, you know what, there might be something in this one. So I checked it out. And lo and behold, a great successor to the 1995 film. Not story-wise, but entertainment-wise. They actually pulled it off. Top of my mind, the first thing that they did which totally paid off was casting Karl Urban, the Karl Urban, in the role of Johnny Cage. I mean, Johnny Cage is supposed to be this young guy, Hollywood actor, and egotistical and all that. And that's how we knew Johnny Cage. But they took a bold step by making him old in this one. Genius casting, man. Genius casting. I mean, he plays this washed out version of Johnny Cage, and it also shows the level to which how fake his life was till now. It's really good. I mean, that's the last thing you'd expect Johnny Cage to go through. But yeah, there it is. And Karl Urban does that perfectly. The next casting that, again, was absolute genius was Shao Kahn, Martin Ford, the bodybuilder. And I think he's an influencer as well. So genius. I'll talk about it later about Martin Ford, but he did justice to Shao Kahn. And surprisingly, he humanized Shao Kahn, which is something even the games haven't probably bothered to humanize him in that level. So kudos to that. It worked out. Next, I'd like to talk about is the detailing in this movie. My God, they spared no expense. I mean, it's not like they just copied the latest game and took everything from there and brought it into the movie. Oh, no. They went ahead. If I'm to give a perfect example, it's like, I know it's a shitty example, but still, the Marvel movie Eternals. Even though the movie wasn't great, the detail to which they went through with the costumes and what their life looked like as Eternals, the detailing with the weaponry and the clothes and the curves and all those things, there was a lot of thought put into it. This similar kind of mindset was there in this movie. The clothes, the character design, the set design, holy crap, the set design was so good. The games now will have to live up to this portrayal. And especially the Tarkatan world. I mean, you've seen it in the trailer, but the world was so fleshed out. It was so good. I mean, you believed the Tarkatan world, and you know what, I'll get into that more, but really good stuff there. And overall, great performances from the cast. I mean, all the people took their roles seriously. It's a Mortal Kombat movie, so it's not like it's going to be an Oscar-winning performance, but everybody was entertaining. It was all so good. It made me believe again in the world of Mortal Kombat, like how the 1995 film did. So it was great. The movie is 1 hour and 55 minutes long, and I never checked my watch. I was just directly on screen the whole time. When is the last time a movie did that to me? I mean, half the time you're just looking at the popcorn and eating and missing some dialogue. It's like, nah, they'll repeat it again because of all the people that are there on their phones. No, this is not like that. This was great. Usually you always think a movie either should be shorter or longer. This was just right. And 1 hour 55 minutes is a little longer as compared to the general benchmark of such entertainment value movies, but it worked. It was good. Coming to the things that I loved. First off, Karl Urban. Oh my God in heaven. Because of The Boys, I mean, those of you who watch The Boys, you know, Karl Urban plays a character called Billy Butcher, and he's got a very animated swagger to him, and he tilts his head in a particular way when he delivers his dialogue from one end to the other and goes forward and back and all. It's so entertaining, and because we know Karl Urban so well in that regard, you can't help but search for those Billy Butcher mannerisms come out a little bit in Mortal Kombat, and it does. And it's like, oh, there it is, that's Billy Butcher right there. So that was really fun to watch. And Shao Kahn. Now, Shao Kahn is, for those of you who don't know, is the main antagonist in the Mortal Kombat universe. Well, there are many other levels also, but you have to get into the lore, and let's hope the future films do that, and then I can talk about it. But right now, Shao Kahn is this menacing character, the last boss level villain in the roster of fighters that is there in Mortal Kombat. And in the games, he's portrayed as this immovable object kind of a thing. He'll come and just bash up against you and maximum damage, and you can't really do anything much to fight head on with him unless you find some tricks and to get his weak points and all that. But I digress. That is all that the character has been fleshed out as far as the game is concerned. I mean, the lore is there, but what the casting did here, which I found was so beautiful, was that they found this imposing 6'8" bodybuilder called Martin Ford. He's famous all over YouTube. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. The guy with the face tattoo over here and all. So and they cast him as Shao Kahn. His imposing physique gave justice to Shao Kahn. I mean, you felt the power that he had inside of him, and it still didn't feel like our heroes were fighting a losing battle. Because if he was this omnipotent character, you'd think, yeah, you know what, Liu Kang or Sonya or Jax or whoever it is that's fighting him doesn't stand a chance. But we didn't feel it that way because he spoke in a very human way. None of that stuff of "you will die" or that kind of a minimalistic dialogue. No, he spoke like a human, and he had emotions. He had all sorts of things, and Martin Ford did a great job as embodying Shao Kahn in his own way. The fights, yes, one of the highlights of the 1995 movie Mortal Kombat was the fights, because most of the characters, maybe except Kano, well, Kano was a brawler, so I can't count him, but maybe Sonya. Sonya, you could tell she didn't know martial arts, but she was great in the movie and she looked good. But majority of the characters in the 1995 film knew martial arts, so it was very evident, especially the fight between Liu Kang and Reptile. If you've seen, for those of you old school people who have seen the film, it was an amazing scene. The film does not live up to the fight scenes. Well, there are a few, like Liu Kang and Kung Lao and Scorpion and all those people. They obviously are martial arts people, so you could tell. But poor Carl Urban has got stuck into this mix, so they had to do a lot of VFX and body doubles and all those things. And it is quite evident, but usually when films do this, it yanks us out from the reality that they have created to immerse ourselves into. But in this case, it was done beautifully. It was just, you're yanked out, but you're not quite yanked out yet, and then you're back in. So it was spot on. I mean, the Carl Urban, Jade, Jax mechanical arms was excellently rendered. It wasn't just steel arms, it was actual robotic arms which had moving parts and all, and there was great detail in that, which was amazing. I mean, these guys, they put their heart and soul into this film. The character of Baraka, holy shit. It's not a major role, but, and you've seen it in the trailer, the trickiest part about Baraka is the fact that he has teeth that are very unorthodox, to say the least, because it's the jaw that opens up all the way here, and the teeth stick out like that. So I have to admit, even the games had trouble to render his teeth and his mouth convincingly. It was just a skin that was placed there with a transparency medium that just showed the teeth, but whenever the mouth was opening, it was just going ow, 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 and speech was coming out. In the film, they actually addressed that issue and they committed to the fact that his jaw opens up like one of those deep sea underwater fish, that the gulper eel or whatever it is, that open their jaw out completely all the way up here. They did that convincingly, and they also made him deliver his dialogue in a very convincing manner. How do you do that? There are no lips. It's just all teeth coming out there from here and here. I mean, fanatics of Mortal Kombat will know what I'm talking about, but it worked. They even added a comedic angle to that also, which was amazing. And did I mention the sets of the cartoon world? Holy crap. It was like the sets of Dune, just in a smaller scale, but it was done really well. Josh Lawson as Kano. Oh my God. I have not seen the movie prior to this, so I am aware that he was there in the first movie. So I imagine he delivered a good performance. He was murdered in the first movie, spoiler alert. But he's back in the second movie. And I don't know if that's a spoiler, but yeah, who cares? He was great. If Johnny Cage was the great comedic element in the 1995 Mortal Kombat, Josh Lawson goes way beyond that in this film. He is so funny. I think he is a comedian. I don't know. I should do some research on that. But I think he's a comedian because that natural timing in delivering the dialogues and all was just so fluid. It actually made me laugh. And his mannerisms and all, it was a very brilliant form of Kano that we didn't even know existed. You know, I mean, you think about the video game Kano, and here it's like you want this Kano to come into the actual gaming platforms. As far as the lore was concerned, the Mortal Kombat lore, they did commit to it. I mean, they've just scratched the surface because the mythology of Mortal Kombat is immense, immense. So, and it is quite good. There are a lot of stories that they can take up. But the thing is, they have laid the groundwork as far as visuals and casting and fighting and everything. They've laid a good solid groundwork with this movie to follow up with all the really cool stories that come up after this point in this film. So I really hope they dwell more onto the stories. I mean, there is this one point, for those of you who played the game, where Raiden actually gets corrupted by the amulet and he ends up torturing Shinnok, who is an elder god. That happens in the game. That was a very huge turning point. It was like, oh, what is Raiden doing? Why is he doing this? And but yeah, I hope they do that. You know, and I'm not going to tell you the scene, but it is a very gory scene, and it just goes on and on and on and on. It's pretty good. So, and there is definitely room for that scene to be incorporated into this cinematic universe. So, oh my God, I hope they go in there. And the things that I did not like in this film, there are very few, and I really had to nitpick here. So here goes. In the beginning, the dialogue felt a little weak. It felt a little improvised and not in a good way. Especially Sonya, certain dialogues of Sonya with Carl Urban. I can't even call him Johnny Cage because it's Carl Urban, Billy Butcher, Carl Urban, and then Johnny Cage. So that felt a little bit off. So in the beginning, when I saw this movie, I thought, oh crap, it's just a Carl Urban cash grab, and that's it. You know, they're just going to milk this franchise like all the other franchises are milking all these unique stories and mythologies and all that. So yeah, that was one. Two, as I mentioned before, the fight scenes. You know, it was very evident that there were very limited martial arts skills, so they had to, but I must say, they did resort to good camera work and cinematography to mask the lack of martial arts skills. It did felt dragged on at times, which was noticeable, but nowhere near to the fact that it yanked us out of the reality completely. It was balanced very well. But yeah, that was one small sore point. For those of you who've seen the trailer, you know that Noob Saibot, oh my God, Noob Saibot, he is there in the movie. Bihan is resurrected, Sub-Zero or Bihan gets resurrected as Noob Saibot. The resurrection story in the mythology is quite emotional and torturous. It is a big deal in the mythology of how Sub-Zero gets resurrected in Netherrealm, which is just another realm, like hell or whatever, but not exactly hell. Hell is for Scorpion. This is the Netherrealm. It's more darker. So I felt maybe due to budget cuts or maybe because of the time constraint and all, and I guess it would be interfering with the plotline of the story, they rushed his resurrection. It was like Sub-Zero was there, and yeah, Quan Chi is in the movie. Spoiler. But it's not a spoiler. Come on. Quan Chi has to be there in the movie. So Quan Chi resurrects him and he just turns into Noob Saibot. That's it. You know? So that felt a little, hey, you should have done more with that. I mean, Noob Saibot is a big deal. For those hardcore gamers out there, he's a very powerful character. So yeah, that's number 3. Some honorable mentions and maybe small gripes here, 1 or 2. Raiden's casting. I mean, I think this Raiden was there probably than the first part, which I didn't see. But upon seeing this Raiden, I don't know, it's just me, I suppose, but I really miss Christopher Lambert, the 1995 Raiden. I really missed him. He was so great as Raiden in the first film. It would have been great if he was in this film, but, you know, moving on with the time, so it's just my little gripe, it's just me, I'm sure. And all the other Christopher Lambert fans who actually enjoyed his performance in the first film. Another honorable mention, again, the sets and the design. I cannot emphasize enough how great and detailed it was. Now the games have a lot of living up to do, because the movie beat the game as far as the set design and the costumes and everything was concerned, and even the characters. So now the game has to live up to the movie. I don't know if that's true of many other games. I mean, maybe, you know what, comment on my video and just let me know if there are other gaming movies that actually did this, became better than the actual game. The good thing about the old 90s movies was that it always gave you a sense of hope, a sense that you are enough and you have so much more potential to explore. However cheesy and corny that sounds, it is important to feel like that in today's day and age, and this movie delivers on that. It does that completely flawlessly. Flawless victory. Yeah, I guess you know what? I'll stop it with that. It was a flawless victory. And finally, Johnny Cage. Ooh, I said Johnny Cage. Carl Urban's character. Oh my God. He nails it in the end. It just works. It just did justice to the game. It did justice to him being the main character. Yes, he's the main character. That's not a spoiler. But again, I have to emphasize that even though he is the main character, there is importance given to every character. It's not like just Carl Urban, Carl Urban, Carl Urban, and Carl Urban. It's nothing like that. It first starts off with Carl Urban, then it goes to this long, broadened spectrum of characters, and then finally culminates with Carl Urban again. It was done beautifully. So overall, I had a wonderful time. This movie just brought me back to my 20s, and I'm 46. I'm not a young guy, but this movie just made me feel young again. It made me feel like a kid again. I heard that there's a part 3 in the works, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait. And this movie had me engaged till the very end, so definitely go check it out. Even if you're not a Mortal Kombat fan, you will enjoy this. So go ahead and check it out. And with that, I am done with the review for Mortal Kombat 2. I hope you enjoyed it, and definitely go check it out in the theaters. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.